I'm going to chat a little bit of Blazers. We've got on your air here tonight on KORE, the Blazers and the Rockets. It's an interesting matchup. Sounds like James Harden is going to play tonight. And with that, we saw the last time the Blazers and the Rockets played, it was probably the best game of the year by the Blazers. And, Alex, they were really able to shut down James Harden. It'll be interesting to see if he plays tonight. I heard Terry Stotts saying, yeah, we're going to try the same things on defense, but they probably know that too.
James has been having one of the most rough spots of his career this last week and a half. He hasn't played his last two games, and when he was playing, he's been missing shots on a historic level. I don't know. Have you noticed? Did you take a look and see how many threes he's missed? He's made like 3 threes in his last 2 games that he actually played. It's been atrocious. So anything that he provides for the Rockets tonight will be helpful for them, but I'm hoping that Portland does have an answer for them defensively.
Yeah, and like I say, it's a big game tonight for Portland, in part because I think it was such a big game last time. Like I say, when they beat them down in Houston, I think most people who follow the Blazers seem to think that was the best win they had over them. Or had on the season, was that win that they had over them. And then tonight, I know Westbrook's out there today too. I assume he's playing tonight. So if you get the Rockets at full strength tonight in Portland, again, this Blazer team, I feel like every time I come on here, we're talking about, are they in or are they out? Are they in or are they out? We just have no idea what this team is right now.
Yeah, they're the Katy Perry of the NBA. They're hot and cold.
Well, and one guy, though, who has been hot and not cold has been has been Damian Lillard. So we're looking at the last 3 games. It's been, basically 60, 40, 50. I think he averaged 52 a game last week to get the Conference Player of the Week honors. And, quite frankly, if you're a point guard looking to score, Russell Westbrook and James Harden aren't the toughest defenders at that spot. This might be a night where maybe he's like, all right, we went 60, 40, 50. Let's see if we get this thing to 70. So I would say if I gave you an over-under tonight, Alex, if I gave you an over-under, and I'm going to put it high because this isn't what Vegas is going to do, but if I put it at 45.5, which Vegas wouldn't do, but if I put it at that, would you think that's kind of crazy, or would you think, I might take the over on that one?
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'll take the over. Damian Lillard's been the opposite of James Harden lately. He's been carrying that team on his back. I think CJ's actually playing tonight, though.
Uh-huh.
So
and CJ played last game.
Okay, so that's good. So I think that with someone else to help share the load, and here's another angle. I think Carmelo Anthony is going to be even more motivated this time against the Rockets. And I know he says it's not an issue and he doesn't want to have a revenge game and whatnot, but I mean, he played really well against the Rockets last time, and he played really well against the Thunder this season, and he played really well against the Knicks this season. Mm-hmm. So he can say one thing, but his actions and his play on the court totally say another thing.
Yeah, and I think with Lillard, again, when you've got Harden and Westbrook guarding you, those aren't the 2 toughest defenders. I think him and Russell Westbrook have a nice respect for each other, but they also like to kind of show off against each other.
Yeah,
and
yes.
I think everybody in this league, when you're playing against Harden and all right, he's probably going to put up 50 on us, I think every guard that goes up in that league against him is like, all right, let's see if we can kind of put that up more than that so that we don't have to hear, well, why'd you give up 50? You can answer back with hey, we gave him 60.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game had a combined score of over 250, maybe 260. I see no reason that neither team really plays defense. Russell Westbrook is a turnover machine. James Harden is even worse on turnovers. I mean, as much as I love the Blazers, they're not known for their defensive prowess. Until Nurk gets back, then things will change, Steve.
Yeah, of course.
That's the cue right there. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game, and I think Damian Lillard is going to have another huge night. And I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Westbrook has a huge night too. And did you see that comment that was, I think it was kind of put out there today that Damian Lillard had made some comment to Russell Westbrook, like, you don't want to see us in the playoffs. Yeah. You don't want none of this.
Yeah, which is interesting because if you look now, Houston's the 5. And doesn't look like they're going to get them. They're 2.5 back at Denver. Obviously, a lot of time left, but that's a lot of time. So they're the 5. They probably end up in a 5-4 matchup, and if Portland gets in, it's the 8. So The odds of Houston and Portland meeting in that second round, not very good. The odds of them meeting in the first round, nothing. And the odds of them meeting, so that's a funny comment from Damian, unless he's saying basically we can knock off the Lakers in round. I mean, if he's saying to Russell Westbrook, hey, you don't want to see us in round 2, it almost sounds like he's telling the Lakers, we think we can not only get in the playoffs, but we can knock you off in round one. I think he might believe that.
You know what? And that's why he's my favorite player, because I like people that believe in themselves that much. That's you have to. You know who had that? Kobe Bryant had that.
Yeah. Well, and I laugh when I talk to Blazer fans who tell me, and I hear two things sometimes from both. I love Damian Lillard, but I want to tank. And I say, well, those two things don't go together well, because Damian Lillard ain't going to tank.
No.
And Damian Lillard is also not going to take a bunch of days off to make sure that they tank. I think it's interesting. I think Damian Lillard is absolutely, the reason that the Blazers aren't going to tank this year is because their best player won't let them do it.
Yeah.
And you can't tank if your guy who's instigating your offense every time and who can score 50 and 60 in a game doesn't want to tank. If you want to, you need a guy like Chris Paul or somebody who you can say, look, you mind taking a couple weeks off? Let's tank this thing a little bit. And Chris Paul will be like, man, that's fine. I'll take my family off somewhere. We'll kind of go stay away. But Lillard's a guy that you just can't tell that to. And obviously you wouldn't want to if you're O'Shea anyway, because you want this guy. You love the fact he's all in. And that's what he is with Portland. And so that's why when I hear Blazer fans talking about tanking, I'm like, you can say that all you want, but when the guy who's got the ball in his hands doesn't want to tank, it's not going to happen.
Oh, I think today's fans aren't as familiar as you and I are with the Blazers' history. I'm, Joel the Thrilla Prisbilla. I lived through those years, and I don't want to go back to those years. I had a Nick Van Exel Portland Trailblazers jersey. I've been through it all. I remember when they signed Juan Dixon, and he was on the Oregonian with his arms spread out with a basketball, and they were declaring him the savior. I don't want to go back to those times. I want to get healthy. I don't want to tank. I want to try to make the playoffs, and you can do both. You can get a draft pick if you unload Whiteside's contract. You can have both. So do that. Well,
and you can also look. I mean, if you end up just out of the playoffs, you've got odds are the number 12 pick. If you make the playoffs, it's the number 16. I mean, you tell me what the difference is between 12 and 16 in an NBA draft. It's not anything worth tanking over. But I also think that there have been some Blazers seasons where some of those dudes would have loved to tank. There's some Ruben Patterson, some guys like that who, if you'd have told them, hey, we just kind of need you to kind of take a little bit of a break here and not kind of try your best, they'd have loved to take some days off.
Oh, yeah. Sean Kemp probably would have had no issue when he signed with the Portland Trailblazers.
Not going to happen with this team, though. So.